Margot Town Center, and anything from this line up until this dotted line is Prince George's County. So Greenbelt, College Park, Beachy Plaza, Hyattsville. Then you have Cheverly, Landover, New Carrollton, Morgan Boulevard, and Margot Town Center. And Madison Road is right in the middle because Seat Pleasant is the suburb between DC and Maryland.
Kaytranada is not, I mean, he's kind of affiliate. I think he's released with them. But like Katra and like Sango and like Mr. Carmack. Yeah, like that, like future vibe. Yeah. My name is Danforth Webster. I'm from Bozeman, Montana. Moved out here this year from Denver, Colorado after doing my undergrad there. So I'm a full-time student in the audio technology grad program at American University. And then I am also a sound engineer intern at Gypsy Sally's, helping do like monitor engineering for acts and front of house sound. And then I also do like freelance sound work for like friends who do videography and other stuff like that, or like beats for commercials, things of that nature. Perfect world, I want to be able to like freelance and like hopefully produce and record music, and then also make beats and do, just in terms of just paying the bills, make beats either for like commercials or do sound work for film or theater or something like that, and then also do the music stuff on the side until hopefully in a perfect world I can just like make beats and stuff like that for a living. But I've tried to learn a ton of other skills so I can be valuable in other fields and work in a lot of different things. So even though right now I'm doing live sound and it's interesting, I don't necessarily want to do it long term, but it's like a really, really practical skill to have, I'd say, because I can do that. But yeah, post-production, sound editing work, I'd be stoked on. But yeah, perfect world would be someone not like Pharrell, because I want to do my own thing and be me, but like something similar to that, where you just get to like produce and like be a creative consultant and help people. Yeah. I would say my biggest production influences, first would probably be the Neptunes. So there was one year in third grade I had to live, I moved down and lived in Austin, Texas for just the school year. And when I was down there, this is like 2003, 2004, and radio there is a little bit different than what's on the radio in Bozeman, Montana. So just all this, I was hearing all this music for the first time, and like the very first Kanye album had just come out, and it was like the Neptunes, 50 Cent, Ciara, the era of all that stuff, and those types of, like a lot of Timbaland, stuff like that. And I love that swing and that style. And I didn't realize until later, but as a little kid, I always just loved the beats. I didn't really care as much about the lyrics because I always just loved the beats a ton. So I would say they're number one because they were the first, I was like the first pop music I heard on the radio that I thought wasn't like bad and was just so different from anything else I'd heard. Absolutely. Before I came out here, I was already listening to Cordae and Rico Nasty. Knew who Fat Trell was and Shy Glizzy. They have like a song here or there that I like. I don't listen to them too much. They're not bad by any means. And then Logic is everywhere now. So heard him. And I liked his really early mixtapes. Oh, yeah. Those first 3 mixtapes, this Sinatra mixtapes, are dope. He took the route he took, but yeah, no, I liked those. But yeah, I would say Cordae and Rico Nasty are who I'm listening to probably the most now. I heard about GoldLink a long time ago, and he's doing stuff like, so you're talking about like Selection, like he's done a bunch of stuff with the Selection guys, and like I enjoy the kind of fun, bouncy vibe he brings to a lot of songs, and he's got kind of a unique flow. I like his singing and all that. Also, I know he's more from Baltimore, but like JPEG Mafia is crazy. He just put out a new album recently, and his album Veteran that came out last year was just like an underground smash hit. I got to see him open up for Injury Reserve in Denver, and he puts on an absolutely insane show. And literally, he doesn't even have a DJ. He just plays beats off his laptop, and the energy's still there, which I think is very hard to pull off. And then, like, one of my buddies I produced with back in Denver, he showed me Young Leash a few years ago, and like that's, if we're talking DMV, like older trap names at least, like Young Leash, come on, like I think he deserves to be in the conversation, because I think I don't know if he's from PG County or if he's from DC, because he always talks specifically about being from like northeast side of DC, I think. You could argue that there is a DMV kind of sound, but everybody that's coming out right now is doing something completely different from the other, and I really like that. I think that's super tight, especially like Rico Nasty and JPEG Mafia, because they both, like, there's a lot of people who find them a little too challenging to listen to, which I totally get. But I love that unapologetic, hard on the sleeve, like this is just how we sound. And then with Cordae, it's only a matter of time until he's gonna be on the radio everywhere, I think. Like he went from, he was a freshman, it was this year, right? Yeah, and he's already had a song with Anderson .Paak, and he just dropped a song with Pusha T 2 days ago. So like, that's not a sign that you're about to blow up. And if you got Pusha T on board, I can't think of a bigger DMV cosign other than like Pharrell and all those guys, even though they're from Virginia. All of those artists have a crazy range in what they're putting out. Like Rico Nasty went from doing like bubblegum trap, like when she was Taco Bella and stuff like that, and even in the early days when she was still Rico Nasty, it was like a lot of that happy kind of like Lil Yachty influenced style. And then she decided she wanted to make like crazy stuff with like metal guitars and all that, and just like really angry, like high energy music. And it was a complete 180, and then people loved it. Mm-hmm. And that was when I can't remember. I think it was "Counting Up" was the first song I heard, because it had like the Missy Elliott style beat, and I love that. That and like "Smack a Bitch," kind of like everybody else who likes Rico Nasty heard that, and they were like, "Oh yeah, it's on." Again, like I was super excited when I got into school here, because I was excited about the music scene around this area. I was very excited about what was going on. Even as far as like, if you go all the way down to like, even people are popping out of like North Carolina now that are doing dope stuff, like between DaBaby and Stunna for Vegas and like that whole scene, like all the way up to Maryland. Like there's a bunch of crazy new sounds coming out of the woodwork. I guess starting with Rico Nasty, there's like a huge wave in female. I don't like the term female rappers, because they should just be rappers with everybody else. But like, especially this year, there's a ton of women coming out just killing it, just dropping nonstop consistent music, and she's been a part of that. And like I said, sounds unique. So I think that's significant, and she's gonna stand out. And in her lyrics, she talks about how she doesn't like objectify herself and all that. So like, that's tight to see. Not to like talk down on other artists who do that. If that's what they want to do and they're cool with it, that's fine. But I think it's cool that Rico and Bars is like, I don't have to dress a certain way. I don't have to talk about sex. Like, I'm a just be me. And people obviously love it. Like, it's working.